Dirty bulk, a bulk that seems like a dream. Eating anything you like from fast food to junk, gaining strength and size really fast, and just enjoying the whole process of bulking. Well, not exactly. You get very fat, very tired and sluggish, feeling awful all the time, and putting your health at such a risk just for a bigger stature. Hi, my name's Finn, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my own dirty bulk experience that I did a few years back, and what it did for me, and explaining every part in detail. I've been training for over 5 years now in the gym, and I've made great progress. I'm in the best shape of my life currently. It's been a good journey, and I've done so much, and I've accomplished so much with this, and I generally am happy with how I look right now. I've still got a bit to go, but I generally feel satisfied with my physique right now. But this wasn't always the case in my lifting journey. I struggled a lot to put on size, especially at the start, and this is why when I first started, the dirty bulk first appealed to me, because as a hard gainer, naturally skinny and short, I always wanted to put on some size and just fill out my clothes, look like a superhero, statured physique, massive shoulders, massive arms, just a big buff bear. And another reason why the dirty bulk sort of appealed to me in the first place was because COVID-19 was about to happen. When I first started the gym, it was around Feb and March time. I wasn't going for anything serious, but I didn't know it would lead me on a path to where I am now, and that's another reason why the dirty bulk sort of appealed to me, because at the end of the day I couldn't train, the gyms were closing, and my diet needed sorting out anyway, and I wanted to just eat more. I wanted to just fill out my clothes, and I think the dirty bulk really did appeal for me for that reason. But this dirty bulk didn't really make me feel any better. I was on this bulk for almost 2 years. I ate nothing but ultra processed foods, anything I liked, just pigged out constantly, and I was supposed to be the biggest I'd ever been, yet I still felt skinny. So let's rewind to March 2020. When I first started the gym, it was about 4 weeks in before COVID-19, the whole lockdown phase would happen, so I got at least a month's of newbie gain sort of training periods, and I got used to all the machines and kit. It was just like a tester sort of to see how I would basically build muscle in the gym and get used to the gym environment when COVID started to happen. All the lockdowns were in place. We couldn't go out, we couldn't see our friends. It was a hard time as it was for us. Started off with 1 or 2 takeaways a week, nothing serious, maybe the odd just big pizza with a big ice cream at the end, nothing serious, but obviously I wasn't training at this point. I didn't know what to do because I wasn't training. I had one weight set at my house, one dumbbell, and that's all I was using to basically do my training, so the training was non-existent, and at this point I was eating so much, so I was probably just gaining most of it as fat for the moment, and because I wasn't training, how was I supposed to make progress? I did notice a slight appearance change in my face, but it wasn't anything serious. I just looked a bit more bigger. It looked like I just had a bit more chub on me, I guess. Around September 2020, around 5 months into when I first started this whole eating habit and dirty bulk stage without actually training, sounds stupid, I know, I was actually motivated to really get back into the gym. I wanted to just gain strength and see where I was on the machines, even though I was probably a bit fatter and didn't really have much muscle on me from obviously eating just crap. I wanted to see where I was. But autumn 2020 was when I was actually feeling very good. I felt very strong in the gym. I was getting bigger but slowly, and I don't know, I felt great. I felt like I was actually making muscle, new progress, and it was really motivating. At this time I was going every day. After college or work, I just sped to the gym on my bike. I couldn't drive at this point because I was not able to drive due to COVID, and it took me a while to get my license, and but that's a separate tangent. I was very religious with the gym at this point. At this point I was 17 and around 11 to 12 stone, nothing crazy at this point, but I felt bigger, I felt stronger. As much as my appearance and face and everything wasn't great, I just felt much bigger at this stage. But I did notice the amount of food I was eating was slightly going up. The change was really hitting hard now. I was having a 1400 to 1700 calorie breakfast with junk food, ultra processed food, 6 slices of toast, Crave cereals, muffins, and chocolate milk. Chocolate milk was like the go-to food I had. Chocolate, you'll see it in a lot of these videos. And then straight after that, if I didn't have college, or if I came home from college, I would have a Domino's pizza, a large Domino's pizza to myself, and then some garlic bread on the side with a dip, and then go straight to the gym from there and drink chocolate milk afterwards, and just, yeah, it was getting quite a lot of volume of food at this point. I was pushing through this autumn, getting Christmas out the way, still eating loads, and slightly getting to the point where I was getting in the bad zone now. After Christmas and into the new year, I still kept going. I was almost a year in now at this point, around Jan and Feb time. I weighed in at 14 stone. Bearing in mind when I started, I was at 9 stone 2. When I started the gym, started the whole dirty bulk, I was 9 stone 2, I went up to 14 stone. I went from 9 stone 2 to 14 stone. I was eating around probably 2,000 calories just for breakfast a day, eating 4,000 calories in a whole day with ease. I was eating so much crap. My face did look the fattest it ever had. I had this huge double chin, no definition in my jaw. I looked awful at this point. I felt awful. I felt even worse. My mood was just depleted because of all the stuff I was eating. And from going from a little lad to a big lad like that, it was a dramatic change in such a short amount of time, less than a year. And it was quite scary to see. I didn't feel great and I didn't look great. Even though I was filling out clothes at this point, I did feel quite crap. From March onwards, I was going back to college. I was out of lockdown. We were going back to college. I didn't really get a good experience at college because we were just trapped in online all the time. And a lot of people can relate to that, I'm sure. To college, I saw my friend on the way, one of my good mates, and he didn't even recognise me. It was quite scary to see. I tapped him on the shoulder. He was at the crossing. I was just going past him on my bike. I saw him and I thought, oh, it's my friend. And I tapped him on the shoulder and he turned around and then just looked back. He didn't recognise me at all, which was quite sad. And then I was like, it's me. And he was like, oh my God, like it's you. And I was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, I've gone a bit too far probably. But yeah, that was quite funny to see that happen because I didn't think I'd changed that much, if I'm honest. But obviously the long hair probably didn't help as well, and probably scared him if anything. So it was quite funny, but at the same time I was like, damn, it's quite real now, isn't it?
Bigger, like your body types. I was literally like, your body type has completely changed. You've gone from an ectomorph to exomorph.
Throughout the rest of 2021, when I finished college, I was done with college, I was still working, I just kept on eating. I was probably around maintenance now, getting used to my body weight at 14 stone, and I looked awful. With photos, with friends, with just trips out, I looked awful. I felt sluggish, I was very tired all the time, I was fat, and I just felt absolutely awful. At this point, I just wasn't in a good state in 2021. I didn't look good, I didn't feel good, and I still felt small. That's the worst part, and that's probably the worst part about the whole dirty bulk, because I don't see what I look like, the progress I've been making. I've been training hard and heavy. My strength has gone up a lot. I can press a lot and do a lot in terms of the weights, but when you can't see what you're actually building, because there's just no visual representation of your body, you just look like this big blob and big bear just walking around constantly. I remember in sessions I was tearing clothes because I was so big and I expanded so much that my original clothes just didn't fit me anymore. I was literally becoming the Hulk every session, just ripping clothes. I remember one session I was doing bench and it was going well, and all I hear is this big tear on my top, and I look under my armpits, like it's just completely torn because of how big I actually am getting. It was actually pretty alarming at that stage. I got the top, I'll quickly show you now. At this top, you remember this top, you'll see it in like a lot. I don't know if the lighting will pick it up. You'll see in a lot of the pictures I was wearing it a lot, and one session I was doing a bench session, you can see it here, just torn completely underneath. I think the other one's the same as well, if I remember, yeah. All torn underneath. I was literally becoming the Hulk. It was pretty crap at this stage, to be honest, that my old clothes couldn't even fit me. The one thing that did come good out the dirty bulk, I will be honest, was my strength. It just went up so fast because I was obviously eating a lot and my body had so much protection because it was so fat. And my strength was naturally going up because of all the food I was eating. I was going to gain strength naturally, but yeah, I still doesn't deny the fact that I still felt crap. I was eating so much food, feeling skinny still. I didn't know at this point how big I was. Now, at the start of 2022, I decided to cut. I had enough of dirty bulk, and I'd almost been doing it for just under 2 years at this point. I was very big, felt awful, wanted to cut, and I revealed my frame, and I did build a bit of muscle on it, and I was very happy that I built a good frame on me, but it just wasn't worth all that fat gain, all that extra fat gain, extra time cutting as well. I did a long cut that time just to get rid of all that excess fat, and I built way more fat than muscle. Obviously that's what the dirty bulk is known for. In terms of the positives for the dirty bulk, I'd say my strength went up fast, my size went up fast, But in terms of everything else was negative. I looked the biggest I'd ever been, but not in a good way. I was fat, I still felt skinny, I was ripping clothes, I just looked awful. Everything was worse when I was on the dirty bulk compared to if you were doing a lean bulk. So would I recommend this? No, I would not recommend the dirty bulk. That's a straight up answer, no. I would not recommend the dirty bulk because at the end of the day, I think the risks outweigh the reward ratio, if that makes sense. So I hope this video has helped you gain an insight to what dirty bulking can do and the experience I went through, and possibly if you are looking to start a dirty bulk, maybe contemplate your decision a bit, because I think after seeing this you might have a bit more understanding of why the dirty bulk is quite a hard thing to do, I think. If you have any questions about my experience of dirty bulking or my opinions on dirty bulking in general, just leave them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer you. And yeah, that has been my video guys. Thanks for watching and I will see you guys very soon.